So obviously one of the questions we get asked an awful lot is, what do we do? And I think it's probably important for Lee and I to just maybe answer a question or set a stall out before we talk about what we actually do. I think when we set the firm up, I think we had a relatively clear vision of what we wanted to do and who we wanted to work for. But before we took any jobs on, it was important that I guess the business model of Red Barn Developments was agreed between us from personal experience as a customer rather than working in the trades. Having had some renovation works and extension works done on previous properties, I'd always found that I had ended up project managing the jobs myself. I'd had brickies who said they'd do this, and then the next thing I'd be passed on to a joiner or an electrician or a plumber or whatever. And I felt someone was running the job, but actually they weren't. They were probably getting paid to run the job, but you ended up doing a lot of it yourself. And I was adamant that that wasn't what we were going to do. We wanted Lee and the team to be really the only point of contact for the customer, which means that if you use us to do an extension or a loft conversion or whatever the job might be that we do for you, all of those trades will be sourced for you, whether they're trades that work directly or indirectly for us. But if it was a changing of flooring, a changing of windows, a changing of some architectural work, then you would come to Lee and Lee would sort that out for you. So I think before Lee goes into a little bit about what we do, it's important to say and describe how we do it, as well as what we do.
Yeah, it's just, I think the main thing behind that, as you know from the previous works you've had done, I guess it's alleviating all the stress from the client. You know, I go to quite a few jobs, as we've discussed before. I go to quite a few jobs where the clients ask you, like, oh, so do you take care of electrics? Do you take care of plumbing? Do you take care of decorating? And the simple answer is yes. I didn't realise how many of those sort of previous builders that have been involved on these bases with the clients that doesn't always happen.
No.
Which for me puts a lot of stress on the client and sort of. This is why a lot of people tend to shy away sometimes from doing the building works on a property, is because of the stress that's involved with it. So if we can alleviate that and do it all as a one-er, that was for us where we wanted to be, wasn't it? And that's exactly where we set the stall out initially. So
it's a one-stop shop, isn't it? It's a full main contract that we will look after on your behalf.
Yeah. So in terms of what we actually do, simple answer is there's no job too big, no job too small, I guess, really. From little things like from an ensuite renovation to kitchen renovations, to extensions, to technically new builds, barn conversions, any of those things that we take on. It's always good to have a mixture of both. I know some people don't like to take those smaller jobs on, but for what we've realised is that if you've got a couple of big jobs running at a time and something happens that's unforeseen on that job, you've then got to find the work for your lads to go on to next. So it's having those little jobs where you can tie those in, if anything like that happens, that works really well.